Med turisti, ki so v teh dneh obiskali naše kraje, tudi Londončan, ki pa bo Slovenijo spoznaval kar peš. Na poti, kjer, kot pravi sam, ne manjka prijetnih, pa tudi manj prijetnih izkušenj, ga je v Posavju ujel Goran Rovan.
And after a day off, back on the open road again. I had a wonderful time with Jana and Goran and their two kids, Kolja and Asia, and their friend Katja and her son. On the first night we visited a monastery that was converted into a gallery after the Second World War, and where Goran works as the curator there. It just happened to be the opening night for a new installation by a local artist, and there was free food and drink, and Katja and I very strategically and cunningly placed ourselves right next to the food and beverage table. Apparently I was the talk of the town as well, because first I arrived in town looking all lost, and then I sat in the center by the river. A policeman stopped me. Then next thing you know, Jana pulled up in her car and whisked me away. And then I turned up at the gallery opening. Suffice to say that people were confused at best. We went for a nice stroll through town, and might I say I looked very dapper. I got a 2 for 1. So apparently somebody called the police again. There was an unmarked car that arrived. Didn't take very long, just a couple minutes. But just as they were leaving, another car arrived. Luckily they saw the first one, so they knew not to bother checking. I get it. I understand why people are afraid, because in the news the crimes of refugees, as few as they are disproportionately being covered in the media. That kind of fear only leads to one thing. I think the media needs to be a bit more responsible in their portrayals, because it is starting to get to me. This now, that was the 6th time in 2 days, in 2 consecutive days. But I can't help but think, as I walk through these villages and, say hello to people, that when they sort of stop and stare, which in Japan which I always associated with curiosity and intrigue more than anything else, I can't help but think that here maybe just this part, because it's so close to the Croatian border, people are looking at me with suspicion primarily. I just have to keep reminding myself that for every one person that calls the police, there are 20, 30 others who haven't, and who perhaps are just curious or don't care. I understand their fear, but that doesn't excuse their actions. And the kicker is, I'm walking towards the Croatian border. People need to learn their local geography. More importantly, I don't like this one bit. I don't know if I'm gonna outrun it. Police car just drove straight past me. Interesting. Unless he's looking to turn around. We'll give that one the benefit of the doubt. Or maybe somebody did call them out, but those were the same officers that had already stopped me earlier today. So that guy just stopped me in a plain car. I didn't notice a uniform, so he asked me for documents. Then I was about to get them out. I asked him if he were the police. He said, "You have your documents?" And I said, "Yes." And then he said, "Yeah, that's okay." Then he just drove on. which now strikes me as strange, but at the time I just thought maybe he was undercover or something. I think next time maybe I'm going to insist on seeing some kind of identification. I just walked past a bar with a bunch of middle-aged men sitting in there having a drink. Obviously they stared as I walked past. So I threw them a little wave and smile from across the road. And a couple of them smiled and waved back. Suddenly I feel much better. All it takes for that kind of human connection is just a smile and a wave. So this happened today.
Med turisti, ki so v teh dneh obiskali naše kraje, je tudi Londončan, ki pa bo Slovenijo spoznaval kar peš. Na poti, kjer, kot pravi sam, ne manjka prijetnih, pa tudi manj prijetnih izkušenj, ga je v Posavju ujel Goran Rovan.
37-letni Alan Mesvin, profesor matematike, je lani pol leta hodil po Japonski, pred 2 letoma po Španiji, letos pa si je za cilj izbral Slovenijo, ki jo je za krajši čas že obiskal pred 2 letoma in bil nad njo navdušen.
So the plan is to walk from a small village called Robic on the Italian border near Kovarid until Hodos, which is on the other side in near Hungary. So far I've walked about 280 kilometers. In total it should be between 500 and 600, I'm not sure yet.
Alan je na poti že 14 dni, še enkrat toliko je pred njim. Doslej ni imel skoraj nobenih težav.
I've had a little bit of trouble with the police the last 2 days once I started getting closer to the Croatian border. Once they know that I'm a tourist, then obviously everything is fine. But I've been stopped six or seven times now in the last 2 days, which is quite a lot.
Za hojo z nahrbtnikom se je odločil, ker želi bolj pristno spoznati našo državo.
I meet a lot of local people, which is basically the point of this trip. I wanted to travel across Slovenia in a slower way. Had the local wine, whose name I've forgotten, Cviček, which is nice. I quite like it. It's a bit bitter, but it's nice. I've also really liked štrukli.
Vedno nasmejani Anglež je navdušen tudi nad drugo hrano in pijačo, ki jo je uspel doslej poskusiti. Navdušen pa je tudi nad gostoljubnostjo, saj ga ljudje tudi povabijo, da prenoči kar pri njih.
They're filming me right now. So Jana's friend Jenny yesterday put me up in an office at the youth centre. This morning there happened to be a news crew filming a piece about a football team. Jenny's husband happened to mention to the reporter what I was doing. Yeah, he then asked me if I wanted to be interviewed. I was like, yeah, sure. Maybe people will stop thinking I'm a potential criminal. What do you reckon about these apples? Yeah. Oh, that's really juicy. That doesn't look good. Another couch surfer offered me a place to stay at her parents', however. Unfortunately, neither of them are there at the moment, but she did say that I can set up my tent on their property, and they've got water on the outside of the house, which would be great. It's perfect. It's exactly what I need. That guy just stopped. I think he wants to give me a lift. Yeah, he was just offering me a lift, being a good Samaritan. So, turns out my house is actually going to drive over from where she actually lives, which is about an hour's drive away, to let me into her parents' house. So I'm gonna get a bed and a shower after all. It's my home for the night. I can't believe it. So Ziva drove for about an hour to get here, just to let me into the house so that I can have a shower and you know, have a proper bed. And then we chatted for ages, had a drink, but now she has to travel back an hour to get back home in time, because she has to wake up tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. So I've got this giant house to myself, which is super duper kind. I have to think of a way to repay all these people that have let me into their homes somehow. And this is exactly what I need after all the doubts I've been having the last couple of days. So Jiva's dad is a total legend. He just brewed me up a quick cup of elderflower tea, prepared a breakfast for me. He just came back to mow the lawn and even said I could stay the whole day or even stay the night again. Bear in mind, I'm a complete stranger, but they gave me access to their entire home, unattended. It was so nice. Once we get to the top of this hill, and we should be able to see Croatia in the distance. That over there is Croatia. Slovenians do love their elderflower. First policeman of the day. Second police has just arrived. There they go. He was super friendly, this one. And the guy in the other car spoke German, so he was keen to practice. But yeah, I asked him to radio ahead to say that I was coming so that I wouldn't get stopped again, and he said he already did that. So let's hope so. Yeah, somebody phoned in. I think I know exactly who it was. I didn't see him, but he was mowing the lawn or something, and I was videoing the boat. I remember the lawnmower stopping abruptly. When I looked, the guy had disappeared. So it was definitely him. Right there over that hill is Croatia. A policeman drove straight past me. So maybe the announcement worked. I just saw a woman drive past me, and as she stared, she picked up her mobile phone. So let's see if a policeman turns up anytime soon. Yep, there they were, right on cue. This was the German-speaking one. Just drove past in his unmarked car. Alright, so apparently the border extends right up to this little pond. So this is Croatia, and here is Slovenia. So I'm going to cross over into Croatia just for 10 minutes or so, because that will save me about a kilometer. It'll be interesting to see if they let me cross. They should let me cross. I don't see why not. And that was Croatia. All 10 minutes of it. People have joked a couple times that I should wear a big sign saying, "Not a migrant." And I have been tempted to do that a couple times, so that they're not so terrified. And I want to clarify, many aren't. It's not like they've come over solely to commit these horrendous crimes. But then to do that would imply that being a migrant has negative connotations. And that's not a message I want to send either. I mean, being a forced migrant might have negative connotations for them. After all, they're fleeing war and famine, searching for a safer life for them and their families. But to everyone else, it certainly doesn't. So I won't be wearing a sign. Police just zoomed by. I mean, I am walking along the border, literally, so that's understandable. But I can't help but think that somebody called them. I mean, Croatia is right there. So, and another police car came by. Nah, yeah.